Excitement for soccer fans from coast to coast is reaching fever pitch as we prepare to learn who Canada will play in next summer's FIFA World Cup. Good afternoon. We're still more than 6 months away from kickoff, but today the stage will be set in Washington, D.C., with countries finding out their opponents in the group stage.
The official schedule, including the 6 matchups set to take place in Toronto, will be announced tomorrow. Let's go live to CTV's Allison Hurst to start off her coverage with the city's watch party at St. Lawrence Market. Allison, the energy must be just high.
Nathan, it really is quite high. Everybody is really excited, anticipating the draw to begin. Everyone's sort of starting to take some places to get a really good look at the screen. That's where we're all going to be able to watch and see, as you were mentioning, who Canada is going to be facing in their group for their games here that are all going to be played on at home here in Canada. A game, of course, in Toronto, and then a couple out west. So lots of excitement here. We've also seen a lot of jerseys, people wearing jerseys not only from Canada and TFC, but also from Jamaica. We've seen some American ones. I've seen some Mexican jerseys as well. So lots of people just sort of showing exactly what Toronto is all about, and all of this excitement and anticipation ahead of that World Cup. That first match, of course, for Canada is going to be played here in Toronto at BMO Field on June 12th. But let's hear a little bit more from Mayor Olivia Chow and a former player.
This moment is about more than anticipation. The draw set the stage for the next phase of Toronto's planning, from tourism and marketing to cultural programming and match operations. And Toronto is ready. Yes. We are working closely with our partners and moving through the final planning stage and with confidence and a deep sense of pride.
The energy in and around Washington is amazing, and just to know this is a world stage, you know, the whole world is watching this, getting ready to see who's getting picked out, to see who's going to play against who. As a player, these are the special moments, you know, you've done so well, you've represented your country, and for Canada to know that we're going to be a host nation and we're going to be bringing in some of the best players around the world, best countries. It's an amazing feeling, and it's something I think we should be very, very excited about, because this is going to be really special.
So lots of excitement and anticipation ahead of what will be certainly a very special World Cup. Here at the watch party today, they're expecting a few hundred people to come out. They've got lots of hors d'oeuvres being passed and lots of food here, as well as a table for autographs and merchandise. A number of TFC players are here to enjoy the festivities, as well as I mentioned, and you saw Mayor Olivia Chow. Canada Soccer COO Aaron Crow is also here, as well as Ontario Soccer CEO Johnny Misley. So they have all been here as well to all partake in some of the excitement. We've seen a number of Toronto City councillors here as well, all talking about not just the games, but also the legacy and the hope of what will last for Toronto. It's being showcased on this massive worldwide stage, and people are really excited about that too, and about the opportunity to show off all the city has to offer in the years to come as well, hoping to capitalize on some of that. So everybody is closely watching and waiting. We are starting to hear some of the opening of the draw starting to get underway on the screens right now. And so people I'm seeing, they're starting to take their seats, starting to get comfortable. And that anticipation and that excitement is definitely mounting, Michelle, as lots of people just are waiting to find out who Canada is going to face in their group.
Thank you. CTV's Allison Hurst at the watch party, and we'll check back in with you as we learn more. But let's check in Washington, D.C. at the Kennedy Center, because as we speak, the draw and everything planned is beginning right now. Let's listen in for a second.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please welcome your hosts for today's show, Heidi Klum and Kevin Hart.
Amazing, amazing.
Buccelli. What a way to kick off the FIFA World Cup 2026 final draw.
Yes, yes, yes. You guys can do better than that. Come on, what an amazing performance.
Yes.
Make some noise in here one time.
Buccelli.
I got goosebumps after that performance. Listen, wherever you're watching in the world, I want to say hello. I want to say bonjour, buenas tardes, and I want to welcome you guys to Washington, D.C.
6 months from now, the biggest sporting event in history will take over North America, the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Yes, and the countdown to the tournament truly starts today with the draw.
Yes, we're delighted to be joined by so many special guests here at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.
And guys, I got to be honest with you, man. I'm so proud to be here as an American soccer fan. Wait, correction. I can't say that. I should not say soccer because I know what it's called. The rest of the world calls it football, and that's right, yes, it's football. I will refer to it as football. I want to let you guys know, I do know my Messi from my Michael Jordan, I know my Cristiano from my Steph Curry, and I know my Bellingham from my Tom Brady, okay? I'm educated.
Funny you should mention Tom Brady. Now, no pressure, Kevin, but this draw is being watched by between 500 million and 1 billion people right now.
That's right. You're welcome.
Oh, my gosh.
You're welcome. That's what I did. I'm honestly glad I learned my lines. Listen, guys, we got so much more than that, though. Honestly, so much more. We've got my boy Danny Ramirez, who is out here in the audience right now with a sea of superstars. Danny, tell me what's going on.
Well, you guys look great from down here, but really, here it's a party. It's the world's greatest stars are joining us here. It's a who's who at the Capitol, and celebrities from the world of music, of film, and of course, the greatest footballers and coaches of all time. Roberto, hablamos un poquito, and we got two-time Super Bowl champion Eli Manning. Eli, we spoke a little on the red carpet. Bring it up, bring it up. We spoke a little at the red carpet. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. This is an amazing atmosphere and so excited.
Nicole. Amazing. Well, again, we gotta talk some stuff later too. Jaime, ¿dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás, Jaime? Ahí te pasé. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Te sientes bien?
Muy bien, muy bien. Muy feliz, muy emocionado de estar aquí. Es un evento importantísimo para definir cómo le ver a los equipos en este mundial.
Perfecto. Bueno, and we have Wyclef Jean over here. Represent. Oh my God, you guys moved you around. How are you? I'm good, man. Representing Haiti, who have qualified for the World Cup for the second time in their country's history. Now back to you guys.
Danny, I appreciate that. Listen, North America, guys, is where it's all happening. From June 11th.
You are watching live coverage of the FIFA World Cup draw today. This is in Washington, D.C., the United States, bringing out the star power as we prepare to find out how the hosts, Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., the 39 qualified teams, tournament placeholders, and playoff placeholders will be divided into 12 groups of 4 teams each for the final competition. This is a really exciting time for Canada and Toronto. As we know, BMO Field will host 6 games. We'll leave it here as they get into the opening ceremonies, and we'll certainly check back in a little later.
Well, bars and pubs across the country are sure to be packed with World Cup fans this summer, but there is a catch. Restaurants won't be allowed to use any official World Cup branding in host cities, and bylaw officers will be watching. In host cities, part of the agreement included enforcing FIFA's trademark rights. In Toronto, the city created this guide for the community, listing what they can or cannot say or write when organizing events. Bylaw officers are expected to be keeping a watchful eye, checking if anyone uses FIFA's intellectual property, which includes anything from branding, logos, mascots, and slogans. In Vancouver, a new law was approved where $1,000 fines can be issued for infractions. Canadian and MLS soccer legend Dwayne De Rosario says the impact of the World Cup coming to Canada will continue long after the actual event.
Right now by Canadian soccer legend and MLS soccer legend Dwayne De Rosario. Dwayne, look around. Could you have imagined that Canada would take center stage at an event like this, hosting a World Cup?
Pinch me, is this really happening? Yeah, right. This is unbelievable. It's a dream come true. As a young kid growing up in inner city, loving the game, growing up and representing Canada, to know that the world's single biggest event is going to be coming to Toronto, coming to Canada, it's a dream come true, really.
And I know how much you're trying to really build a legacy after this tournament. What are you trying to do, and what do you hope that you can extend past next summer?
Well, the impact that this World Cup is going to bring to Canada is going to elevate the sport to a place we've never seen before. And that's better coaching, that's better facilities. You see what's happening at BMO Field, more opportunities for kids in Canada to play the game. And for me, the most important thing is accessibility right now, and providing opportunities for kids like me in inner city communities that they can access opportunities in a game that's growing exponentially, especially when it comes to funding and costs.
Appreciate this, Giro. Enjoy today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And still ahead this noon hour, the mayor and premier turned out ahead of this weekend's Eglinton LRT launch, as the premier confirms another big transit project. The Crosstown LRT will not open this year.
But first we turn to Brampton, where an 18-year-old man is dead after a stabbing at an apartment building last night.
Officers say there was a fight in the lobby leading to the stabbing, and the search is now on for a suspect. CTV's John Musselman is live at the scene with the very latest on the investigation. John.
Well, Nathan, you're right. It's a devastating story. An 18-year-old young man is dead after this happened last night around 10 o'clock. Now, we did have a chance to speak to some residents in the building, and we did see some security video as well. It appears that the stabbing may have happened in the first floor corridor, and then the victim made his way into the lobby and then outside into the front parking lot. We know that paramedics were on scene trying to perform life-saving measures, but this 18-year-old did not survive. As far as suspects, not a lot to go on yet. Residents say they heard a fight in the corridor. Police looking for surveillance video, anything that might help them identify the suspects in this case. We did have a chance to speak to Peel Regional Police this morning. Here's what they had to tell us.
From the information that has come out from the multiple calls that we received, is that some sort of an altercation was happening between this individual and one or more persons in the lobby. So we're confident to say that at least this was isolated, and as a result of an altercation. We don't know yet what the motive was, if any. We're not sure if it's suspect or suspects. The building at the time was pretty busy. It's a very large complex with a lot of people coming and going. There were a lot of vehicles and people present at the time of this incident.
And Peel Regional Police have set up a command center here in the parking lot for any additional information. We don't know if the victim, in fact, lived in this building. That's something that police are still piecing together. Reporting live in Brampton, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, John. A stretch of the Gardiner was closed earlier this morning after a vehicle was shot at. Now, it happened at around 9:45 near South Kingsway. Evidence of gunfire was found at the scene. No injuries were reported. The investigation is ongoing.
Police in York Region are investigating a home invasion in Richmond Hill last night. Officers responded around 8:45 to a home in the Bayview and 16th Avenue area and say multiple suspects fled on foot before 9 p.m. They searched with their helicopter and canine unit but were unable to locate the suspects. Police are canvassing for security, camera, and other evidence in the area. No one was injured during the home invasion, but anyone who might have information is asked to contact police.
We have more news in a moment, but first, here's a live look at the city this afternoon. A mixture of sun and cloud on this Friday. It's chilly out there. There's also a wind chill to add to it, and the cold air is going to continue here this weekend. Lindsay Morrison has a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan. Yeah, it's cold out there. It's not as cold as it was this time yesterday, but we remain below seasonal. That has been our December trend so far, and that pattern, too, is set to continue. -2 degrees at this hour, wind chill -9. We're forecasting an afternoon high near 0, which, again, would be an improvement. Winds coming from a different direction today, out of the southwest, still a little breezy, sustained sustained around 30 kilometers per hour. That difference in wind direction means that once again, areas east of Georgian Bay and north of Parry Sound really seeing the bulk of the snow today. We've got that mixture of sun and cloud that we mentioned, but the chance of flurries is with us for today. Heading into the weekend, we've got a chance of flurries for both Saturday and Sunday. And coming up, we'll show you when the temperature is set to drop again in a big way. Full look at your forecast is ahead. For now, though, Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, soccer fans all over the world are watching with bated breath as the FIFA World Cup draw gets underway this hour. 48 countries being divided into 12 groups for next summer's World Cup. It's 6 months away, and our Scott Hurst joins us now to talk about it. Bring us up to speed on what we can expect this hour.
Yeah, happening right now, FIFA's big reveal, and as you mentioned, this is huge for soccer fans and sports fans right across the planet, as this will determine the matchups for the group stages as the FIFA World Cup kicks off next summer in Canada, United States, and Mexico. And this is really the culmination of where sports, politics, and entertainment collide for this big reveal, where, of course, we will know the matchups. But in the meantime, there's musical acts, there's celebrities that are there, there's other athletes, retired athletes from other sports as well, taking part in this big event. And now when the World Cup kicks off next year, it'll make history on many fronts. Of course, it'll be the largest World Cup event in history with the new expanded format, and the first time being hosted by 3 nations across Canada, U.S., and Mexico. A total of more than 100 matches, including in the group stages and the knockout rounds. Canada, as a country, will host 6 in Toronto and 7 in Vancouver. And so it is a big time for soccer in this country, and a big time and a great opportunity to inspire a next generation. Of course, Canada qualified for the last World Cup in Qatar, but now having a chance to play on home soil is a big difference, a big change for the athletes who are participating.
Definitely. Home field advantage is something special for sure. And it's exciting because Canada is so multicultural. And depending who's playing here, you might have big home crowds who really can't wait to watch as well. Canada is in the first pot division. The FIFA, there's a whole FIFA manual for how this draw works. We know FIFA's rules are intense. Maybe you can bring us up to speed on what we might expect there.
Yeah, I can try to put it a little bit in layman's terms so we understand what is going on over the next couple of hours. As we said, basically what will happen once it's all said and done, we will know who each team will play, each nation will play, and this will set the groups for the FIFA World Cup when it kicks off next summer. So what we know right now is that all the nations that have qualified are broken up into 4 pots. Canada and the other host nations, USA and Mexico, are in pot 1, along with the other top FIFA-ranked nations. And so they'll select all of pot 1, all of pot 2, 3, and 4. Canada, as one of the host nations, has been pre-approved to be Group B. And so under the draw procedures, what this means, Canada will open Group B play against a team drawn from pot 4 today. And those are some of the lower-ranked FIFA nations who have qualified. And some of those teams that we could play in that opening match in Toronto include Jordan, Ghana, or New Zealand. Some nations in that pot have yet to qualify, and one fascinating scenario which could be massive for the city of Toronto, there's a chance Canada could face Italy in that opening matchup in Toronto. Of course, that is huge for Canada as a nation, but also the importance and the significance of Italians here in Toronto and how much they love soccer as well. And so that is one possible scenario, assuming Italy can survive the final European qualifying. But one thing, Canada is looking to make history, and it is looking to win its first FIFA World Cup match.
Oh, definitely. We just saw earlier there the FIFA president speaking as the proceedings continue at this hour. And yeah, the matchups are important, Scott, in terms of eyeballs and potential revenue, if it's a more exciting matchup, that sort of thing. CTV's Scott Hurst, really appreciate you breaking it down for us today. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Michelle.
We'll turn to some other news now, and the Canadian economy added 54,000 jobs in November, pushing the unemployment rate to its lowest level in 16 months. Stats Canada's monthly labor survey found the job gains were driven by additions in part-time work linked to the healthcare and social assistance sectors. This is the 3rd consecutive month of job gains, with the Canadian economy adding 181,000 new jobs since September. And this comes as a new report from the International Monetary Fund says Canada's economy has held up better than expected under the trade shock from U.S. tariffs. The report says the impact of the trade dispute was mitigated by exemptions under the existing free trade agreement, although employment and investment have still weakened. Looking ahead, the IMF says a risky outlook has become more balanced than earlier in the year, but uncertainty is due to remain high.
The federal government is serving Stellantis a notice of default after the automaker shifted some of its production from Brampton to the United States. Stellantis announced in October it was moving planned production of its Jeep Compass from Brampton to Illinois. Jolie told the Standing Committee on International Trade the move breaches federal contracts tied to manufacturing in Brampton and Windsor. She says the contract for federal funds for a Windsor battery plant included a job guarantee in Brampton. Well, politics meets sports today in Washington as leaders of the 3 host countries are in attendance and expected to host separate meetings over the future of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. CTV's Jeremy Sharon joins us now with more on this. So, Jeremy, the Prime Minister is expected to meet with Trump and Sheinbaum on the sidelines of the World Cup draw. How do we think this is going to go?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of people watching that high-pressure situation or that highly anticipated meeting as well, although, of course, the main event is the unveiling of the World Cup draw. But politicos will be watching closely at kind of what happens in that meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney. We know that on the way in, U.S. President Donald Trump stopped and spoke with reporters. He referenced both Canada and Mexico and the fact that he'll be meeting with both leaders some point after today's announcement, referenced having a good relationship with both countries, and did talk about the fact that they will discuss trade. Beyond that, we don't know specifics of conversations. We do know that prior to the ceremony getting underway in Washington at the Kennedy Center, Prime Minister Mark Carney held his bilateral meeting with President Sheinbaum, Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. That happened just before about 11:30. That meeting lasted about 12 minutes. So a brief meeting with the Mexican president. We don't know specifically what was discussed, but that means that one of these 2 highly important meetings that will be happening on the sidelines of this FIFA event has happened. Of course, the biggest of the 2 will take place after the ceremonies when the Prime Minister meets with U.S. President Donald Trump. But there's certainly a lot on the line here, given that this will be a brief meeting on the sidelines of a bigger event. The 2 haven't spoken publicly or held any official meeting since October, which is when Donald Trump decided to end all trade talks and tariff negotiations between Canada and the U.S. as a result of that now infamous anti-tariff ad that the Ontario government launched that featured Ronald Reagan. Donald Trump didn't like it. It ran during the World Series, and he said that was it. There were no more negotiations that were going to take place. And so there's a lot weighing on whether or not this conversation between Trump and Carney could be at least, Nathan, a step in the right direction towards getting, talks back underway between the 2 countries.
I mean, you almost hope, will Trump maybe be in a good mood because of what's happening, and there's a lot at stake.
Absolutely. I think the Canadian side is certainly paying close attention to all of the surroundings, everything that is happening around the fact that they're going to get to meet with Donald Trump. He's clearly in a good mood. We saw him speaking with reporters, a slew of reporters on his way in. He's celebrating the fact that this is an accomplishment for the U.S., that the U.S. is hosting in partnership with Canada and Mexico the World Cup. He's expected to perhaps receive this first ever FIFA Peace Prize that has been announced. It's not, for sure, but he's expected to receive that prize. We know that he has been long talked about his peace efforts and the wars that he continues to talk about, that he has helped resolve, he says. He has been after these. So all that to say, he's likely to be in a good mood, and it could, put forward the perfect scenario for a positive conversation to happen on the sidelines of all of this about, serious topics in the trade relationship between Canada and the U.S. We all know that CUSMA is up for review in 2026. There has been mixed reviews or mixed comments about what that could lead to. Some are concerned it could lead to a worse deal. So this is not an unimportant, although it will be brief, meeting between the 2 leaders. There's a lot at stake here.
And the world is watching. CTV's Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
And staying south of the border, reports out of Washington are shedding new light on a suspect's potential motive for leaving pipe bombs in key locations ahead of January 6, 2021.
Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen.
January 6th was the day lawmakers were gathering at the U.S. Capitol to certify President Donald Trump's election loss to Joe Biden. Trump supporters ended up storming the building and delaying that certification. But authorities also noted someone placed pipe bombs at key sites in Washington the night before, including outside the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters. The bombs were defused. No one was hurt. Sources now tell CNN the 30-year-old Virginia man arrested yesterday told investigators he believed the 2020 election was, quote, stolen. The FBI and the Justice Department declined to comment. And on Thursday, the U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for Texas to use a congressional map that will boost President Trump's effort to keep Republicans in control of Congress. A lower court had found the new boundaries were likely unconstitutional because they were drawn based on race. The top court disagreed. Democrats have responded to the Republican push to increase their potential seat count with their own redistricting efforts. Well, we're just 2 days away from the opening of a brand new TTC line, the Finch West LRT.
The new Line 6 has already started popping up on transit maps. And today, Premier Doug Ford and Mayor Olivia Chow were on hand to celebrate the milestone.
Well, folks, I just want to thank everyone that's been involved, from Metrolinx to the TTC and everyone else, elected officials. There's a lot of work to be put into this, and thank goodness we're open for business now. And again, it takes a whole, as they say, it takes a whole village. Well, it took a whole city and part of the province to get this going, but it's open now.
I can't wait to get on Line 6, the Finch LRT. And thank you to the federal and provincial government, Premier. Thank you for making this happen. And it's going to have 51,000 riders, and it's exciting. I just want to let everybody know, when we have the grand opening on Sunday, you can ride for free.
And with those comments made, it was time for a test ride. The Premier, Mayor, Ministers, TTC CEO, and others bundled up onto one of the new Line 6 trains. Metrolinx President and CEO Michael Lindsay said it's estimated a trip along the 10-plus kilometer line could take about 44 minutes, but that figure should decrease.
We're still talking to city officials about signal prioritization. We're still working on the lights. As drivers get more used to driving this system, for sure the round-trip travel time is going to get better. But I've sat on this alignment a lot with a stopwatch, like the nerd that I am, like timing the Sunday going by. And just the packed buses that go down the alignment on Finch, I mean, it's such a good rush.
And also today, the Premier confirmed the TTC's Line 5 won't be entering service this year. Doug Ford said he's hopeful there'll be something to announce in early 2026, but crews need time to do their work. Officials have pointed to several recent completion steps for the Eglinton Crosstown, but haven't shared an estimated opening date for the long-delayed transit project.
Asbestos cleanup, tight work windows, and other delays are slowing the build of 5G cell service in the subway system. TTC staff say they don't expect Rogers will be able to meet a federally imposed deadline at the end of the month for 80% coverage throughout the tunnels. A report set to go before the TTC board meeting next week projects 70% of the subway network will have cell coverage by the end of the year. The report cites issues related to the transit system rather than Rogers, such as canceled subway closures when the company is scheduled to perform its work. Lindsay.
Well, last night was frigid across the GTA. At one point, it felt like -18 at Pearson Airport. Tonight, not going to be quite as cold, but we are still below seasonal. -2 degrees is what we're forecasting, with a wind chill near -8. Still going to feel into the minus double digits outside of our region, too. Another weekend of fun. Santa Claus is coming to many towns, including Etobicoke, Whitby, and Stouffville this weekend. There's a look at what time you can catch him, and the weather should cooperate. We'll take you through your weekend forecast and talk about some flurries after this.
It is the absolute final deadline for the Princess Margaret Home Lottery. Your final chance to get a ticket to win so many incredible prizes, including this grand show home in Oakville. Total value $7 million, which includes $500,000 cash. Joining me now from the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation is Arax Coleman.
Hi, Julie.
I love this home.
I know.
It is sexy.
It is an absolute dream come true, isn't it? But the tickets are selling fast. We're over 90% sold. So we've got 13,000 prizes that include cars, cash, vacations, electronics. The odds of winning are impeccable. This is a great time to get in.
My favorite prize of all is the 50-50 jackpot.
Yes, and it's growing every minute. It is now over $5.9 million. The jackpot is huge and growing every minute until midnight. Winner takes over $2.9 million.
And this is growing, so this will continue to grow.
Absolutely.
But I can't believe it's already over $5.9 million.
I can't believe it either. It's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
And I love all these prizes, but let's all remember, it all goes back to an incredible cause.
Right.
Every dollar will make a difference.
Yes, when you buy a Princess Margaret Home Lottery ticket, you are absolutely in it to win some amazing prizes, but you are guaranteed to improve cancer outcomes for people and their loved ones here in Ontario and actually across Canada and around the world.
You know, one of the things we talk about is early detection.
That's
and that's
right.
Key.
It's key because we want to be able to catch cancer before it takes hold, and the Princess Margaret Cancer Centre is hyper-focused on this, as well as innovative therapies that are less invasive and more effective, which is, you know, this is what we need because cancer is growing, and more than half the people we know at some point will have a cancer journey in their lifetime.
Okay, so who are you going to carry the fire for? Get your ticket now, purchase it, maybe in honor of somebody that you love, but you have to do it before
by midnight. Yeah, midnight tonight.
PrincessMargaretLotto.com.
Well, it is Friday afternoon, and it is chilly. I'm just thinking the folks at Nathan Phillips Square who are skating have to do a whole bunch of laps, so they're not feeling the frigid air.
Yeah, great conditions for anything on the ice, not so much for soccer. Thankfully, the World Cup will be in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. A different time of year, but we're so excited for today. Lots to look forward to through the rest of the afternoon, and I think lots to look forward to when it comes to your weekend weather forecast. There's nothing major that should impact your plans, especially if you're going to be staying around the GTA. But we could get a few flurries both Saturday and Sunday, and depending on where you are, some localized areas could pick up a centimeter or two, and yeah, it's still going to be quite chilly. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm, injury lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Let's talk about this morning and the beautiful sunrise that we had. In fact, I'm just going to let these beauty shots shine for themselves around the GTA. It was a little bit cloudy and continues to be at times through the day today. We will have varying amounts of sun and cloud. Look at that shot. Love seeing our city look like that. Of course, the sunrise doesn't last all that long. The cloud cover took over, but we will have some sun through the afternoon. Many areas do right now. But don't let any sunshine fool you. You still need to bundle up, and perhaps you can see in the distance there is still a little bit of snow squall activity in some areas. Let's talk temperatures. You know it's been cold in northern Ontario when the numbers you see here are a dramatic improvement. So it's only -6 today in Timmins at this hour. It only feels like -20 in Moosonee as opposed to feeling into the -30s like the last couple of days. -2 at Pearson Airport, wind chill -9. Forecasting an afternoon high of about 0. Hopefully we can get there. Again, with a mix of sun and cloud for the most part and the chance of flurries for today. Tonight should be mostly quiet. An increase in cloud cover is expected. Overnight temperature near about -1 degree, slipping to about -2 just before sunrise tomorrow morning. And yes, of course, the wind chill continues to be a factor. The wind's not quite as strong as they've been either, but it feels chilly out there. There's our mix of sun and cloud. There's the snow that, again, continues to impact areas east of Georgian Bay. For the most part, it's not, it is relatively quiet when it comes to any active weather, but a burst of flurries expected Throughout the day on Saturday, you can see just how scattered in nature this is going to be. So there's about midday around the GTA, doesn't look so bad. And then Sunday, another mostly cloudy day with flurries expected once again. Monday, we enjoy some sunshine, but it is going to be cold. So here's your weekend forecast. These highs not so bad. Sunday night's temperature, though, we drop once again to minus 12 degrees for the low, minus 4 the high for Monday. And then it looks like flurries Tuesday through Thursday of next week. That's the weather for now. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. In entertainment news, and Netflix has struck a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery to buy the Hollywood giant studio and streaming business for $72 billion U.S. The merger brings two of the industry's biggest players in film and TV under one roof. Beyond its namesake television and film division, Warner owns HBO Max and DC Studios. The cash and stock deal is valued at about $82.7 billion U.S., and Hollywood insiders say the deal is, quote, shaking the industry to its core, and the sheer amount of influence the combined company will wield could doom movie theaters.
This is not a good move for theatrical exhibitors, and I imagine that, you know, the antitrust regulations, a lot of people are going to be fighting this, although it seems like it's essentially a done deal. You know, exhibition has already been under fire quite a bit recently, but I mean, imagine this year, pretty much many of the biggest moneymakers of the year, including Sinners, Superman, One Battle After Another, Weapons, those are all Warner Brothers movies. F1. You know, I just don't understand how movie theaters who are already kind of stuck for content are gonna be able to withstand this.
According to Variety, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos said today the company has no opposition to movies in theaters, but he suggested titles may also come to streaming sooner.
All right, there we are live in Washington. That is the Kennedy Center as we watch this amazing World Cup draw. We're going to find out which countries will be playing and who the opponents will be playing in the group stage. Stay with us. We've got more details after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Stack Market's free holiday event is back with a retro twist featuring installations and a towering Christmas tree.
Running from now until December 28th, the market includes holiday treats, vintage-inspired cocktails, and classic movies. CTV's Jessica Smith is live at the market for a sneak peek. Jess.
And Nathan, Michelle, it is my favorite price to get in here, and that is free. And there's so much fun stuff, and that vintage feel you can really see almost everywhere, especially with the giant inflatables. Alejandro, with Stacked Market, you guys are doing so much every year, and I know this is year number 6 for this market, but you know, what do you guys have to add this year? Because I feel like every single time you do this, it gets bigger and better and more fun.
Yeah, we're back for our 6th year of Holiday Hills. You know, we got a couple different additions here. If you look around you, we have giant inflatables, 20-foot inflatables, giant Santas hanging off the top of our containers, along with a lot of more free activities and workshops to bring kind of that nostalgic feel of the holidays that you know, we all love and miss, with a couple of twists to, you know, bring a little bit more modern touches to it.
And I love how accessible this is, and I think that's so important. Obviously, this time of year, things are pricey. We're buying gifts for our loved ones, but why continue to keep this accessible and really focusing on supporting local? Because you have people in here, I just chatting those ladies over there. They came all the way from Windsor. They were here in the summer. They're back now. Why continue to have this kind of shop local, accessible mindset?
Yeah, I mean, again, Stack started, you know, with the idea of being a public space and a free space for people to use up in such a condensed city. A really big part of us, our community, people who live around us. We offered a lot of free programming because there's, you know, we've seen that massive barrier of entry, you know, that pay to play, especially during the holidays where there's a lot of pressure to, you know, be able to go out and spend money. We want to offer a lot of free programming, you know, whether it's sing-alongs on the weekends for kids and families, and offer a space where a lot of people who live downtown with kids don't have places to go, and offer that, you know, that free space to come in here, have their kids have fun, have programming that is, you know, sponsored and covered by us, to get people to kind of enjoy the holidays, along with also hanging out with your chosen family, whether it's like, you know, live music Fridays like tonight, which we're doing live band karaoke. If you've never done that, it's an entire 5-piece band with backup singers that will...
You had me at karaoke. Well,
I know.
We'll have more tonight at 5 and 6. Thank you so much. Again, it goes to the 28th. We'll have more news and weather after the break.
Thank you, Jess. And after the break, we continue to keep an eye on the World Cup draw as we wait to find out which teams all the countries will be playing. Right now, we're looking at a lovely live shot of our city. We've got the sun. It's cold. There's much more when we return. Stay with us.
All right, we're going to go back to our live coverage of the FIFA World Cup draw. Of course, there is Donald Trump along with FIFA chief Gianni Infantino. And we are getting close, Mish, to the moment that we're really waiting for to find out who's going to play who.
A lot of billions of eyeballs right now are on Washington, D.C. and this draw. We just saw Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, because this is really a special tournament this year because you have these three co-host countries. And what's great for Canada is it guarantees us a spot in the action. Let's listen in for a little bit.
So let's start with the draw. I will just show you how it works. I've done a few of them. Don't be scared, right? So you have to basically mingle the balls a little bit. You can see, I show this for the public, you see. Mingle. And then, one by one, we start with Mr. Carney. You pick one. Wait. You open it. You see there is a little paper inside. You take out the paper, these two things, you can throw them in here. And then you can show to the public what you have drawn, which for me is FIFA, of course. I'm just the moderator. Mr. Carney, do you want to start? I'm ready. Don't forget, and pick the right ball, please. Already chosen. Okay, let's see which team will be drawn by Mr. Mark Carney. Oh, Canada! Oh, congratulations. Canada, ladies and gentlemen, the first team drawn in this World Cup. Group B1 for Canada, by the way. We can continue. Por favor, podemos seguir, Presidenta. Vamos a ver el sorteo más importante del mundo y vamos a ver cuál es el equipo.
¡Viva
México! ¡México! Felicidades. México, Grupo A1, Presidenta. Grupo A1 por México. Muchas felicidades. President Trump, up to you. Don't forget to mingle.
Well, the FIFA World Cup draw has begun, and how about that? Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney drawing Canada, as did the Mexican president drawing Mexico.
I wonder who Trump's going to draw.
We got to wait and see this. And then we're going to take a short break, but we'll have more when we return. Let's go, Trump.
Let's give it a shot. I agree.
Well, the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw is underway as we speak. You're watching some of the live coverage right now from the Kennedy Center in the U.S.
Yeah, the format a little bit different this year. The top 4 teams in the world will be playing in separate quadrants. There's going to be 100 games in total over. Let's go back. Let's listen. It's like we're watching the Oscars. Let's listen in.
Celebrating Mexico, Colombia, Brazil. The family runs deep, but if you know me, you know that I'm fanboying because I'm standing next to a legend here. Hugo Sanchez, the legendary. Please clap it up for Hugo. So, Hugo, I'd love to ask you, y te pregunto en español o en inglés, lo que sea, pero primero en inglés. What's your first World Cup memory? Because I know that before you were a superstar, you're a fan of the global game. So, ¿cuál era tu primera memoria del fútbol?
¿Del fútbol o del mundial?
Del mundial.
Bueno, pues tengo recuerdos maravillosos. Primero en el 70, que México fue organizador, que tenía 11 años y yo dije, para que vuelva a ser otro mundial en México va a ser difícil. Entonces, me gustaría jugar con la selección mexicana en un mundial, pero pensé que no iba a ser tan pronto. Y afortunadamente en el 86 pudo ser posible y ese sueño se me hizo realidad. Quería jugar un mundial con mi selección en mi país y se me cumplió el sueño.
Bueno, y se te cumplió un sueño en forma maravillosa que jugaste en México y Ahorita tienen el honor, el equipo mexicano, de tener la misma oportunidad. ¿Qué les dices a ellos en casa?
Bueno, hay que aprovechar, primero sentirnos privilegiados de ser un país que llevamos 3 mundiales en nuestra tierra y por eso nos sentimos orgullosos como mexicanos. Estoy encantado. Ojalá que sea un mundial inolvidable.
All right, we're watching actor Danny Ramirez. He's one of the co-hosts of the FIFA World Cup draw as we get ready to find out who Canada's going to play. Let's check in with Allison Hurst at a watch party at St. Lawrence Market. Hey, Allison.
Hey, Nathan. Yeah, still lots of excitement, and the anticipation is building now as we've started to see what the draw, well, what we think it's going to look like. We saw Prime Minister Carney out there, as well as the others, all pulling their own country names. And so now we're just waiting to see who else is going to fill in the list and who's going to make up Canada's group. So we're still watching, we're still waiting, and everybody here is very excited.
There's a big moment for the city of Toronto and our country. Thank you, Allison, and St. Lawrence Market. Yeah, by the time the World Cup comes, it'll be nice and warm.
Oh, it'll be a little different than what it feels like right now. Quite chilly again for today, and once again, we have flurries in the forecast for this weekend. There's your 7-day forecast, Nathan and Michelle.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. And that is it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison, the whole team here, have a pleasant afternoon. Thanks for joining us.